Deeply sorry for what any victim has been through, especially as a result of that monster.
March 12, 2025, 4:47 a.m., Port of New Orleans, Louisiana. Federal agents in tactical gear surrounded warehouse complex 7B at the Crescent City shipping terminal. Overhead lights cast harsh shadows across stacked shipping containers. The facility processed legitimate cargo 6 days a week. Trucks rolled in, trucks rolled out. Bills of lading matched manifests. Everything appeared routine. The agents weren't there for the shipping containers. They breached the adjacent administrative building first. Inside, they found what 19 months of investigation had promised: a criminal operation so systematic, so brazen in its corruption, that it had transformed a licensed maritime facility into something else entirely. The computers held the evidence. The file cabinets held the ledgers. The employees held the secrets. By sunrise, 33 people were in federal custody. The terminal director's double life, Marcus Devereaux, had run Crescent City Shipping Terminal for 11 years. He sat on the Port Authority Advisory Board. He donated to local charities. He gave tours to high school students interested in maritime careers. Photographs showed him shaking hands with city council members at ribbon-cutting ceremonies. Devereaux also ran the largest customs fraud and money laundering operation the Port of New Orleans had seen in 2 decades. The investigation began in October 2023, when a routine audit flagged inconsistencies in import declarations. Shipments from Southeast Asia showed values that didn't match market rates. Container weights didn't align with declared contents. The discrepancies were small. Individually, they meant nothing. Now, collectively, they formed a pattern. Federal agents from Homeland Security Investigations, the FBI's Public Corruption Unit, and Customs and Border Protection launched Operation Manifest Destiny. They reviewed 3 years of shipping records. They analyzed financial transactions across 14 accounts. They identified 47 suspicious shipments valued at $3.2 million on paper. The actual value exceeded $47 million. The anatomy of systematic fraud. The operation functioned with corporate precision. Shipping containers arrived from manufacturing facilities in Vietnam, Thailand, and China. The manifests declared textiles, electronics components, and household goods. The customs declarations listed values deliberately suppressed to minimize import duties. The containers actually held designer knockoffs. With counterfeit electronics and unlicensed pharmaceuticals, Devereaux's team at the terminal processed the shipments with fraudulent documentation. They filed false customs declarations. They manipulated weight measurements. They altered inspection schedules to ensure complicit personnel handled flagged containers. When legitimate inspectors raised questions, administrative errors mysteriously appeared in the paperwork, delaying scrutiny until the cargo had cleared the facility. The financial infrastructure supporting this operation involved layers of shell companies. Investigators traced payments through accounts in Delaware, Nevada, and the British Virgin Islands. Each transaction was under $10,000 to avoid automatic reporting requirements. The pattern was obvious once analysts mapped the network. Money flowed in from distribution networks across 15 states. It cycled through the shell company. It emerged as seemingly legitimate payments to the shipping terminal for handling fees, storage costs, and expedited processing. Devereaux personally received $2.3 million over 32 months. The corruption network. The operation required cooperation at multiple levels. Devereaux couldn't execute this alone. He needed customs inspectors to miss obvious discrepancies. He needed terminal workers to handle specific containers with discretion. He needed administrative staff to generate false documentation. He needed warehouse supervisors to coordinate storage and distribution. He found willing participants throughout the facility. 8 customs officials took payments ranging from $5,000 to $75,000 each. And they scheduled their inspection rotations to cover arriving shipments. They signed off on documentation without physically examining containers. They reported finding nothing unusual when their own agency guidelines would have required immediate escalation. 12 terminal employees participated in the handling operation. Forklift operators positioned containers in specific locations. Warehouse workers supervised loading operations for outbound trucks. Security personnel disabled cameras in targeted zones during critical transfers. Each person had a role. Each person received payment. The ledgers recovered from Devereaux's office detailed every transaction: names, dates, amounts, services rendered. The man kept meticulous records of his own criminal enterprise. The distribution chain. The fraudulent goods didn't remain at the terminal. Coordinated distribution moved merchandise to retail operations across the South and Midwest. Investigators identified receiving locations in Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Missouri. The goods appeared in discount retail stores, online marketplaces, and street vendor operations. Some items were remarkably sophisticated counterfeits. Designer handbags with perfect stitching and accurate branding. Electronics and packaging that matched legitimate products down to the holographic security stickers. Quality fooled consumers who thought they found exceptional deals. Other items posed health risks. Counterfeit medications containing incorrect dosages. Electronic chargers lacking proper safety certifications. Cosmetics formulated with prohibited chemicals. The operation prioritized profit over safety at every level. Federal agents estimated the distribution network generated $127 million in revenue over the investigation period. The participants at the terminal level received approximately $8.7 million collectively. The remainder flowed to importers and distributors operating outside immediate prosecution jurisdiction. The surveillance operation built in the case required sophisticated surveillance. Federal agents installed cameras monitoring the terminal's entry points. They tracked vehicles arriving to collect suspicious shipments. They documented license plates and registered owners. They followed trucks to distribution facilities and recorded unloading operations. Undercover agents infiltrated the receiving network. They posed as buyers interested in bulk purchases of discounted goods. They negotiated deals that required discussion of sourcing. Conversations were recorded. Participants explained the supply chain with surprising candor, confident in the operation's security. Financial investigators obtained warrants for bank records across the shell company network. Analysts mapped transaction patterns showing money flowing from street-level sales back through the system. The financial trail led directly to accounts controlled by Devereaux and his primary co-conspirators. The investigation accumulated 847 hours of surveillance footage, 12,000 pages of financial records, and 156 recorded conversations. The evidence filled 17 filing cabinets at the federal building in New Orleans. The coordinated raids. The arrest operation began at 4:30 a.m. on March 12, 2025. Federal agents executed simultaneous warrants at 14 locations across 4 parishes. The primary target was the shipping terminal. Secondary locations included Devereaux's residence in Metairie, the homes of 8 co-conspirators, 3 warehouse facilities used for distribution, and 2 offices housing shell company registration. The terminal operation involved 67 federal agents backed by local law enforcement. They secured the facility within 12 minutes. Employees arriving for the morning shift found the complex locked down. Some attempted to leave. Agents detained them for questioning. Inside the administrative building, agents seized computers, filing cabinets, and personal electronics. Devereaux's office yielded the most damaging evidence. His computer contained spreadsheets tracking shipments, payments, and distribution schedules. His file cabinets held contracts, customs documents, and handwritten notes detailing operational procedures. His desk drawer contained $47,000 in cash, bundled in $5,000 increments. At his residence, agents found an additional $180,000 concealed in a basement safe. They seized luxury watches valued at $65,000. They recovered bank statements showing accounts in 3 countries. Devereaux had prepared for eventual flight. He never got the chance. The initial charges, federal prosecutors filed charges against 33 defendants within 72 hours of the arrests. The indictment detailed 56 counts across multiple categories. Marcus Devereaux faced 23 charges, including conspiracy to commit customs fraud, money laundering, bribery of public officials, and operating a continuing criminal enterprise. If convicted on all counts, he faced a maximum sentence of 175 years. The 8 customs officials faced charges of accepting bribes, falsifying federal documents, and conspiracy to commit customs fraud. Their participation in the scheme violated their oaths of office and federal employment regulations. The betrayal of their positions carried enhanced penalties under corruption statutes. Terminal employees faced varying charges based on their level of involvement. Supervisory personnel who coordinated operations faced more severe charges than workers who simply followed instructions without full knowledge of the operation's scope. Distribution network participants arrested at receiving facilities faced charges related to trafficking in counterfeit goods and conspiracy to commit fraud. The total potential prison time across all defendants exceeded 800 years. The financial toll beyond criminal penalties, the operation caused measurable economic damage. The Treasury Department calculated lost customs revenue at $11.3 million based on the difference between declared values and actual market values of imported goods. Legitimate businesses competing with counterfeit merchandise estimated lost sales exceeding $40 million. Brand owners documented costs associated with investigating counterfeit operations and pursuing civil remedies against distributors. The Port of New Orleans faced reputational damage that threatened future contracts. International shipping companies questioned the facility's security procedures. Insurance carriers increased premiums for cargo passing through the terminal. The facility itself faced potential loss of operating licenses pending administrative review by multiple federal agencies. The legal proceedings, federal prosecutors offered plea agreements to lower-level participants willing to testify against primary conspirators. 17 defendants accepted deals within the first month. Their cooperation provided additional evidence detailing the operation's structure and decision-making hierarchy. Marcus Devereaux declined all plea offers. His attorney maintained his client's innocence despite the documented evidence. The case proceeded to trial in October 2025. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Prosecutors presented the financial records, surveillance footage, and recorded conversations. They called 43 witnesses, including cooperating defendants, federal investigators, and financial experts. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 11 hours across 2 days. They returned guilty verdicts on all counts. The judge sentenced Devereaux to 42 years in federal prison. He ordered restitution of $8.7 million to be paid jointly with co-defendants. He imposed fines totaling $2.5 million. Devereaux would be 79 years old before becoming eligible for release. The 8 corrupted customs officials received sentences ranging from 5 to 15 years. They forfeited their pensions and federal benefits. Several faced additional state charges for violating public corruption laws. So terminal employees received sentences from 18 months to 8 years, depending on their level of involvement and cooperation with investigators. The systemic vulnerabilities. The investigation revealed troubling weaknesses in maritime security protocols. The conspiracy succeeded for nearly 3 years before detection. Internal audits failed to identify obvious patterns. Supervisory oversight proved inadequate to detect coordinated corruption among inspectors. Federal agencies implemented enhanced monitoring procedures at ports nationwide following the investigation. Customs officials now face randomized schedule assignments preventing predictable rotation patterns. Inspections are cross-verified by multiple personnel. Financial disclosures for port facility management increased in frequency and detail. The reforms address known vulnerabilities. They cannot eliminate human susceptibility to corruption. The broader implications. Operation Manifest Destiny exposed one terminal at one port. Federal officials acknowledged similar operations likely exist at other facilities. The techniques employed by Devereaux's organization weren't innovative. They were systematic applications of basic fraud principles exploiting trust-based systems. Ports process millions of shipping containers annually. Physical inspection of every container is logistically impossible. The system relies on documentation accuracy and personnel integrity. When both fail simultaneously, detection becomes a matter of luck or dogged investigative work. The counterfeit goods that flowed through Crescent City Shipping Terminal reached consumers across multiple states. Some discovered they'd purchased fakes. Most never knew. The merchandise functioned adequately for its purpose. The deception was complete. The pharmaceuticals posed more serious concerns. Federal health officials couldn't identify all distributors who received counterfeit medications. They couldn't reach all consumers who purchased them. The potential health consequences remain unquantified.
Then dozens.
The ongoing investigation.
Some had third-party laboratory names.
The international
managed their
network that supplied the
timelines
counterfeit
down to the
goods.
minute.
The shipping containers
The
originated
concept
from
was straight
manufacturers in
launch.
multiple
This is
countries.
not a guess or a last
Identifying
resort.
and prosecuting
It is a
overseas
calculated
participants requires
and destination
international
warehouses.
cooperation and diplomatic
Some forms
coordination.
include the system.
Customs officials in
It was
Vietnam,
trying to
Thailand,
become
and China
part of it.
have received information about the implicated
Once the scope of the
facilities.
network
Whether
became
those
clear,
governments will
the
pursue
submarine
charges
was last
remains
detected.
uncertain. The
From the
manufacturers
outside,
often operate
it looks
in
like the
jurisdictions
more they
with
opened,
limited
the
intellectual
clearer it
property
became.
enforcement and minimal
This was not
regulatory oversight.
This was no longer an
Distribution
investigation
network
focused on
extended beyond
collecting
the
more
arrested
ships
participants.
cannot
Federal agents identified
speed
47
and reach.
retail locations that
Each was
received
labeled
goods
not
from
by
the
product
conspiracy.
name,
Many
but by
operators claimed
category.
ignorance about the
Federal
merchandise
leadership
orders.
moved
Proving knowing
decisively into the
participation
final
required
phase.
evidence beyond received
Reuters has
shipments.
reported in
Civil
multiple
litigation
analyses that
continues
helicopters
as
armed
brand
with
owners
so
pursue
the
damages
following
against
item pulled from the
distributors
cabinet
and
was a
retailers.
lab report,
Cases will likely
then
extend
another.
for years
Network
as
had
parties
time to
negotiate
adapt,
settlements and
hide assets,
Though the
or
warning.
turns quickly confirm
The Crescent City
what the
shipping terminal
analysts
case demonstrates how
suspected.
institutional trust becomes vulnerability when corrupted from within. Marcus Devereaux held a position requiring integrity. He transformed it into criminal opportunity. He recruited others who made similar calculations. The operation succeeded through systematic exploitation of procedural gaps and personal corruption. The arrests brought accountability. The sentences delivered punishment. The reforms address known weaknesses. But the fundamental challenge remains. Systems designed for efficiency must balance security against functionality. Every control mechanism creates delay and expense. Every inspection slows commerce. The pressure to process cargo quickly conflicts with the need to verify legitimacy. Criminals understand this tension. They exploit it with patience and planning. They identify personnel willing to accept payment for looking away. They develop networks that span jurisdictions and frustrate investigation. Detection requires vigilance, resources, and institutional will. Prevention requires something more difficult, creating cultures where corruption finds no purchase, where trust is continuously verified, where the consequences of betrayal outweigh any potential benefit. 33 people learned that lesson in March 2025. The question is whether others will learn it without requiring similar investigations, similar arrests, similar sentences.
One line
The
stood
shipping
out.
containers continue
A partner
arriving
asked
reports
about
across the
rising
nation.
reports of pediatric
Documentation
complaints,
continues flowing through
inventory,
customs systems.
and
Most
shut down
did,
systems
some
that had been
not.
moving illegally. There is no
The
need
challenge
for
is knowing
drama.
the difference before the damage is
Above
done.
the water,